Hi folks, it's Andy. I hope you're having a fantastic day. A very quick and informal video today. I don't know how quick it's going to be really, but it's informal. About the brand new 2021 range of Shinai that we have available now at KendoStar.com. We've got a great lineup of Shinai. We're going to go through them all in a moment. We've got all different shapes and styles. I'll tell you what the different shapes and styles are, which ones are suitable for what type of use and stuff like that. So we're going to jump into that in just a moment. One thing I want to cover first off though is the size of the Shinai. Okay, there's one thing that it's a bit of a bugbear of mine, it has been for many years, is about Shinai sizing. Okay, most of our Shinai, many of our Shinai have both men's option and a women's option. Okay, some of them don't, and some of them, do. It's largely based on popularity. Okay, but if there's a particular model on there that isn't in the size that you want it, just fire us an email. We'll see what we can do to help. But what you will notice is that we offer on the Shinais with a size selection. You'll tend to find that we have men's 39 and women's 39, and you'll see that the sort of weights on there are written as well. Now, what we don't have as standard is women's 38. Okay, and I know that a lot of people are confused about that, and it's really important that we get this information out there. Okay, the standard size for adults is 39. If you look at the 39 refers to the length of the Shinai, by the way. It stands for 3 shaku and 9 sun. Okay, and if you look at the regulations of Shiai tournaments, you'll find that the regulation length for adults is the same for both men and for women. Okay, so that's why the standard size for adults is 39. That doesn't mean they're the same weight. Okay, as a men's 39 and a women's 39 obviously are made to meet the weight regulations of the respective genders. So that is the first thing. The thing about the 38 size, why don't we offer a 38 size? A 38 size Shinai with 3 shaku and 8 sun is intended for high school students. If you find that, you'll see on there on probably some other websites, if you bother to go to them, I don't know why you would, but they might sell size 39 and size 38, and sometimes there's no even mention of whether it's for a man or for a woman. What you find is 38 men's or boys Shinai is intended for a high school boy. Okay, and that's quite a lot over the weight of an adult woman's Shinai. Okay, it's supposed to be, I think it's 470 or 480 grams, whereas a adult woman is only supposed to be 440 grams. Okay, it's quite a lot heavier than you'll get from a Shinai that's intended for an adult woman. Or you might find that they're actually going to send you a girl's or a woman's 38 Shinai, which is intended for a high school girl. Okay, which is somewhat lighter, and it won't meet the weight requirements for adults in tournaments. Okay, so you have to be really careful of that. That's why we don't offer 38 size Shinai. The standard size for adults is 39. Okay, it's the standard, and then the weights is different between men and women. Okay, so that's why you'll find on KendoStar that both adult sizes are the same as per the regulations, as per is standard. And then the weights are different depending on whether it's a men's Shinai or a woman's Shinai. If for whatever reason you want a shorter Shinai, but still want it to meet the regulations, then get in touch with us. We'll see what we can do to help. But of course, we can't guarantee it. It depends. We'd have to ask our suppliers, see if we can get something made up for you, because that is a non-standard requirement. Okay, so just be very careful when you're out there shopping. If you're looking at 38 size Shinai, it's not the standard size for adults, no matter what gender they are. Okay, so just be aware of that. That's the first thing I want to cover. Right, let's get into the different Shinai models. So to kick off, we'll start with the all-purpose or the entry-level models, whichever way you want to look at it. And we've got the Goriki, first of all. It's a sort of standard practice Shinai. Nothing particular sort of standing out in terms of its shape or balance or anything like that. It's kind of all-purpose go-to Shinai, sort of no frills really, especially if you're on a budget. We often have these on quite a good deal, depending on obviously the stock that we've got. All right, so this is the Goriki. It's the one to choose if you just want something plain, basic, no frills, and for your sort of everyday practice. Then we've also got the Kensei. The Kensei is a lot like the Goriki. This is part of our Kinjirushi series though. Okay, so it's a slightly deluxe version of the Goriki. It's shaped very much similarly. But it's made from a slightly higher grade bamboo, so you could probably expect a little bit longer life out of it, and you do get this nice double folded tsukagawa on it as well. Okay, so if you want something that's a little bit more sort of upper class in terms of a basic practice shinai, then the Kensei is a great choice. And then finally, my favourite of the three personally is the KendoStar Ultimate All-Purpose Practice Shinai. The great thing about this is by far our most popular Shinai, of course. This is the Shinai I basically designed about 3 years ago now. To be the sort of ultimate all-round Shinai. I use these Shinai myself more than anything else. It's great for all levels, so if we've got a good deal going on these, again, it depends on the stock levels and stuff like that, as to what deals we have going and stuff. But if you find a good deal on these, then they're a great one to pick up. Even if you're a beginner and it's your first Shinai, we do include these as part of our beginner package as well. So they are, you know, they're not a sort of advanced level Shinai. They're great for everybody. It's made from great quality Madake bamboo, which is a Japanese species of bamboo. And it's cut to be well balanced. And it certainly is well balanced, but also durable. There's plenty of meat left in the tip where you actually make your strikes. So it's definitely worth picking up if there's a good deal on this, as opposed to these two. The thing is about all three of these is the sort of availability of our stock and our deals with our suppliers and stuff dictate what deals we can offer on these from a sort of month to month basis. So if you're sort of in the market for an entry level Shinai or just something as a workhorse for in the dojo, get on the website, have a look at what the best deal is on any of these three models, and you'll be satisfied with whichever one you choose. Okay, so next we'll take a look at some Dobari or Jissengata style Shinai. What a Dobari style is, or a Jissengata, is this part of the Shinai here. You see it's slightly larger. That means that Dobari literally means that this part is larger, okay? And usually that comes with the tip of the Shinai being a little bit thinner or slimmer. And what that means is that the tip feels a little bit lighter because the centre of balance is set closer to your hands, and the sort of weight of the Shinai is more towards you, and the tip of the Shinai itself obviously feels a little bit lighter. So it's great for sort of multiple strikes. People like them a lot for tournament use. That's what Jissengata means actually. So they're a great choice if you want something that feels sort of lighter than it is. Now, of course, with the tip of the Shinai being shaved a little bit thinner than sort of a standard Shinai, of course, that does impact the durability. So you have to keep that in mind as well. It's best not to use Shinai like this for like your hard uchikomi practice or your striking practice, your kirikaishi, those sort of things. It's better to save them for jigeko, or tournament use. Okay, so what I tend to do is I'll have one of these in my bag for jigeko, and then for the sort of kihon practice or the uchikomi or the kirikaishi, I'll use either an all-purpose Shinai like we just looked at, or a Koto style Shinai, which we'll look at next. Okay, so the versions of these that we've got, this is our sort of main one. This is the Junki. Okay, so this is our Dobari Jissen, our most popular one. You've got a reasonably wide grip at about 26 millimeters. That's about standard these days, to be honest, for sort of all-round adult use. And yeah, it's made from great quality bamboo. You've got that sort of classic Jissengata shape, so it's great if you want a good sort of, I hesitate to use the term workhorse, but a good standard Jissengata or Dobari style Shinai. And next, following on from the Junki, is its kind of brother, the Koren, from the same range. It's shaped very much like the Junki Shinai. I just moved the shipping tags a bit. You see these tags on here? I should have mentioned this at the start of the video. These strings that are wrapped around the Shinai, by the way, you cut those off, okay? You don't use the Shinai with those on, okay? You take those off before you use them. So the Koren is very much like the Junki in terms of how it's shaped. However, it's got a much larger handle. Okay, so if you want a thicker or wider grip, then the Koren is the one to go with. Okay, so because a lot of the overall bamboo that's used in the Shinai goes into that wider grip as well, you actually feel even more extreme in terms of how light the tip feels. Okay, so in my opinion, the Koren feels even lighter than the Junki. So you just have to remember that it's got that much thicker, much wider grip. It's around 28 to 30 millimeters. Okay, so that's that one. So finally, we'll have a look at these two. These are the Kinjirishi series, Kinjirishi being our gold mark Shinai. These are kind of a slightly premium model of Shinai, and they tend to be cut from a higher standard of bamboo, and also they tend to be in more sort of not unusual but less popular shapes and styles. Okay, so they're not produced in as high a quantity, so they're a bit more of a sort of premium model, as it were. So we've got two versions of these. I'll start with the Shikon, which is much like the Junki in terms of how it's shaped. It's a nice Dobari Jissengata. It's made from very, very nice, beautiful Keichiku bamboo. And it's got a shorter grip. Okay, so if we compare the grip to this one here, we'll talk about this one in a minute, but this is a standard length and size grip. You'll see it's quite a lot shorter, yeah. And you'll see as well that the door of the Shinai is set towards the hands as well. So it's actually carved to be a shorter grip Shinai. It's not we've just whacked a shorter grip on it. Okay, it's actually made to have a shorter grip. Okay, so the balance is accounted for with that shorter grip. So if you find that the standard grip is a little bit too long, or it makes your hands too far apart, then this is a great choice if you want that shorter grip on your Shinai. That's the Shikon model. And finally, in the Dobari Jissengata style Shinais, we've got this one. I really love this one. This is the Kibu. Okay, the Kibu. So with the Kibu, what you have is it's a very extreme Dobari. This is much larger. I'll get another one in a minute, and you can see it's a much larger sort of size on the door there. Okay, so it's a very extreme balance. It does feel very, very lightweight. But because they've used quite, a very large door section here, they haven't necessarily had to go super thin with the tip. So the tip is sort of similar to the other models, but you've got that really large door here. So that balance is indeed really, really exaggerated. Okay, so again, with these Shinai, these Dobari style Jisen, you don't want to be using them from rounds and rounds of kirikaishi, but for those jigeko sessions or those tournament matches, they're a really great choice. Now let me grab another Shinai and you can see just how it compares with the size of the Kibu. Okay, so here is the Kibu and here is the Junki, and it's not so easy to see on the video, but I can actually I can actually totally hide the Junki behind the Kibu. Yeah, it is significantly larger, okay, at the door section. So if you do want that sort of more extreme balance, and it's quite a good defensive Shinai, because obviously the size of this also serves to help protect your kote a little bit. It makes Suriage Waza a very, very easy choice for your defensive techniques, because the Shinai really does help with that, the shape of it. Then definitely recommend checking out the Kibu new for 2021. So next we'll have a look at the Nichiren To. The Nichiren To, which is another of the Kinjirishi series. The Nichiren To, as you can see, is what's known as a Koto style, sometimes called Chokuto. Koto means old sword, and Chokuto means completely straight. So essentially it's the opposite of a Dobari or a Jisen style Shinai, in that the way this Shinai is shaped is it's almost completely straight along the whole width of the blade. Okay, it doesn't flare up here, it's pretty much straight along the whole width of the blade. And what that does is it distributes the weight of the Shinai across the blade from the tip to the handle in a similar way as you might find with something like a Japanese sword or a bokuto. Okay, so it's a little bit more similar to how a real sword would be more balanced. In terms of its benefits, of course, it means that the tip is thicker than it would be with, say, a Jissengata style Shinai, and you do get more durability out of them on average. Also, that extra little bit of weight in the tip can be really great for improving your sort of intermediate level to higher level kendo, when you're really focusing on controlling the center and making ippon uchi no waza, so sort of bold single strikes as opposed to sort of several repetitive renzoku waza. So if you want to make one bold bam strike like that, it's really good. It's good for practicing ski as well, because the tip tends not to waver. And I often revert to this type of Shinai when I feel like I'm slipping into a bad habit of trying to defend by raising my hands a lot and thus exposing my kote. And this kind of Shinai encourages me to hold a good, clean kamae. Okay, so I've really been enjoying using this Nichirinto for the last sort of couple of weeks of practice. As I've been testing it out, and I absolutely love it, and I'm sure you're going to as well. It's made from premium Japanese Madake bamboo. It's really beautiful, the bamboo itself. It's got a large grip. It's around 30 centimeters, the grip. 30 centimeters, 30 millimeters, the grip. If I said centimeters earlier in the video, I meant millimeters, all right? They're not huge grips like this. Okay, but it's around 30 millimeters, the grip, which again, it not only feels great in the hands, but it just helps with that balance, because it's overall quite similar. Okay, so I often find that if you get a Koto Shinai that's got a very thin grip, it can feel a little bit top heavy because it's almost thicker at the tip than it is at the handle. But with this larger grip, you really do get that nice distribution of the weight. So great, solid Shinai for all sorts of use. You could use this in your regular practice, and it's great for jigeko as well, especially like I said, if you're working on those points of kamae and solid ippon uchi no waza. So next we have the Tokon. This is a kind of mainstay Shinai of the KendoStar range now. We've had this for a few years. It's been one of our very, very popular models. Basically, this is a kind of all-round type Shinai that has an oval grip. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that. Okay, but the grip is carved to be an oval, and this sits in the hand very nicely. It's very similar to how you have a grip on a Japanese sword or on a bokken. And the great thing about the oval grip style is, of course, it's not going to twist around in your hand because it fits into your hand very nicely. So it really encourages you to make the correct grip on the Shinai. It's a really, really great tool for that. So if you like oval grips and you want a good all-round Shinai, which is what the Tokon is, then this is the one to look out for. Okay, we're going to move a little bit into the more sort of specialist Shinais now. This is the Tenkafubu. Tenkafubu. This is our sort of original Shinai that's particularly considered for people that use a Jodan no kamae, the kamae where you hold the Shinai over your head this way. And that's because the grip of the Shinai is much longer than on a standard Shinai. Okay, it's a good deal longer. I'll get another one in a minute. We can compare it against it. But that's because when people do Jodan, they often find that a longer grip is much more comfortable for the position of the hands over the head when making the correct Jodan no kamae. I often find that if the sky is much shorter, it's harder for them to make a correct Jodan no kamae. Now, I don't really use Jodan no kamae myself, but it definitely feels nicer for me to go to Jodan using a longer tsuka, okay, or grip. In terms of the shape of the Shinai, it's more of a Koto style or Chokuto style. This is again something that lots of Jodan players, especially in Japan, tend to like, because they are going to focus a lot on katate waza, one-handed waza, and that little bit of extra weight in the tip is going to give them a little bit of extra durability for a start. And secondly, it just adds that little bit of extra impact in the strikes that they need, because they're obviously only striking with one hand as opposed to two. So it does help with that. It's made from beautiful madake bamboo. And it is fantastic for Jodan players. It's also great if you just want a Shinai with a really long grip. If you want to, you can use it in Chudan as well, of course, if you prefer to have a longer grip. And just quickly, I've just grabbed the Goriki again so we can compare the length of the Tsukai. And you can see that the Tenkafubu here has a much longer grip than the Goriki as standard. Okay, so I know it doesn't look a huge difference on the camera there, but it is quite a big difference that in practical terms. Okay, so it does have that longer grip, and it's great if you want to use it for Jodan. Okay, and finally we have the Hachiman Shinai and the brand new for 2021, the Tenma Shinai. These two fantastic Shinai are what are called Hakkaku Shinai. Hakkaku means octagon, and this one is a Hakkaku Koban. That's the Hachiman, okay? We've had this one on the range for a couple of years now. It's been super popular. So what that means is the sides of the octagon that make up the handle are elongated, so it's a kind of octagonal oval shape, okay? And it results in quite a large scar as well. So it's quite a large grip, octagonal Shinai. Now, why would you want it to be octagonal? That's because as you close your hand around the Shinai, you'll notice that your fingers don't make a perfect circle or a perfect oval. Okay, so what they found in Japan probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, that if they carved it into an octagon shape, it actually fits in the hand much nicer, and lots of people really prefer it. It became super popular with very high graded senseis, especially those that don't really like the perfect oval style, but it does give you something a little bit more sort of firm to grip on as you are making your kamae. Okay, so it's a really comfortable type of grip for the Shinai. So the Hachiman does have the larger version of that is elongated to make a kind of oval shape. It's got a great balance and beautiful madake bamboo, as you can see. It's got a great balance because, again, of that large oval style Hakkaku grip. If anything, it's shaped like a kind of Dobari, but there's plenty of meat in the tip of it as well, so you can still get those solid strikes and decent sort of durability out of it. So that is the Hachiman, and the brand new model for 2021 is the Tenma. So what we've done with this is a couple of people got in touch with us and said that they really loved the Hachiman, but the grip size was just a little bit too big for them because they preferred a more standard size grip. So what we've done with the Tenma is we've taken that Hakkaku octagonal shape and we've put it onto a standard sized round grip Shinai. Okay, so this is what's called a sei Hakkaku. Okay, so this is a perfect octagon. Okay, all the sides are the same. It's not super large. Again, you've got that beautiful madake Shinai bamboo, and that great balance similar to this one. All right, but a slightly more refined handle size. Okay, so if you prefer something that's a little bit more regular in terms of the size of the handle, and you prefer a sort of rounder grip rather than a sort of ovular one, then the Tenma is definitely a Shinai that you should check out. Okay, so that is all of the Shinai that we have in our lineup at the moment for 2021. Okay, so that's all of the different Shinai that we have at the moment at KendoStar.com. I hope it was useful. I hope it made some sense and helped you understand the difference between the different Shinais that we offer, and obviously hopefully helps you decide which is the best one for you. Obviously, if you've got any questions or curious about anything, hit us up with an email, mail@KendoStar.com. I think I've covered everything. Other than that, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.